Okay, I'm gonna explain some of the cars here. For example, this light red one, this is a Pontiac Fiero from the 80s, which was a failure for some reason. Modified to look like a Ferrari, especially the wheels, because they have the Ferrari logo in the end, which has the rear end of a Ferrari 308 GTS. We also got a lot of side vents, and that specifically reveals the engine of the car. I do not know the engine of the Fiero, so let's move on. This one here, this light white one, no, it's just white, is a I think it's a 66 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. This variant of the Cadillac de Ville series was sold from 65 to 70 and was basically, I think, the fourth or third generation. My personal favorite here is the Ford Torino GT, which is going up. Hey, can you rev the engine, please? Thank you. Yeah. And I think, is this a 69 or a 70? I don't know.
70 Caddy.
Yeah, there's a 70 Cadillac Coupe, no, Sedan de Ville, I think.
Yeah.
It has some sort of rust on it. I don't know why. Here's the interior. Pretty awesome interior for the time. And basically, here's the badges and the rear end. Nice car, unlike the BMW. Next one we got, no. Next one is, oh god. Next one is a Mercury Montclair 4-door sedan, light purple. This is probably a 58 Montclair. I am not sure. There was also a station wagon version called the Mercury Colony Park. Okay, that's it. I do not know anything much. Then here is the 61 to 63 Thunderbird. Based on the design, it's probably a 61 or probably even a 62. If I remember correctly, first started in 1955 until 1957 as a two-door roadster and sold well, selling over 16,000 units compared to the 300 that the Corvette only did in 1953. Pretty impressive. And of course it has the iconic badge. Personal. And then we got a white one here. This is probably like a 60-something 65, thank you, Chevrolet. It's actually a Malibu. Yeah, a 65 Chevrolet Malibu SS with a 396 cubic inch engine, which is probably like 6.5 liter, which is, well, 396 cubic inch V8 or 6.5 liter V8. Its partner was the Chevrolet Chevelle. My favorite one's a 70 SS 572, which made 720 horsepower and I think 680 pound-feet of torque, if I'm correct. Next one is it's the Vette. The Vette. It's my favorite Corvette. That's a second-gen Corvette. That's a black first-gen Corvette. Ooh. And then we got a real nice one here. We got a 64 Barracuda. This was actually introduced April 1, 1964, which was 16 days or 2 weeks and 2 days before the 64.5 Ford Mustang. It was originally codenamed the Ford T5. If I remember correctly, one of the R names that was originally planned for the Mustang was the Torino, which would be used. My favorite Torino is a 70 Super Cobra Jet Sports Roof GT. And that's the side profile, and we have the rear end. Man, we got a 72 El Camino SS. Has a 350 cubic inch V8. It probably stands for, I don't know, probably 6 point something units. No, liters. Next up, we have a 72 Challenger RT. It's an orange color, and it's 72 because of the front end. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the Hemi, but it's a 344 barrel because of the badges there. The reason why I like this car is probably because of its appearance in the 1971 film Vanishing Point. Well, it was a 70 Challenger RT, a 66 Jaguar XKE or E-Type, and and a 60 something Charger RT. Yeah, thank you. Next up is this light red Corvette. My favorite one's like a 69 something. It's compared. I don't know anything else about this. Sometimes I just like it. Next car is the Chevrolet Nova. 350 cubic inches, which is probably around 6.3 to 6.4 liters. No, 6.5 liters. And I think it made 375 horsepower for the 1970 model year. The dark blue one, I think that's like a 70. Yeah, that's a 74. It says that only made 105 horsepower. Unfortunately, because of the 1973 oil crisis, which skyrocketed prices to like 38 cents to 55 cents on average. Next up is the Galaxy 500. This is a rare convertible version. I think only 2,000 of these were built, so it's a rare one. Next up is a Pontiac Firebird. This is a 1967 Pontiac Firebird. I don't know the engine, but my favorite one is a 69 Firebird Trans Am with a 0 to 60 of 4.7 seconds and a top speed of nearly 250 km/h. Next up is this Chevrolet Chevelle. It's a 350 or 6.5 liter engine. My favorite one is, like I said, is a 70 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 and 572. Then, this was the Thunderbird I was talking about last time. This is a 55 to 57 variant. Didn't sell well because of the fact that it was a coupe, but it didn't have 4 seats. So it basically wasn't a coupe and a sedan at the same time. Next up here is it's a 67 Camaro RS. It was basically a car. Yeah, those things used to represent the headlights, which would open. I don't know how you would open them, but they look kind of cool. Next up is a Bel Air. My father actually owned this in the Philippines in the 70s, but it was a 4-door sedan instead of a 2-door coupe. Wait. Next up is a Ford Fairlane. I don't know anything about this, but my favorite is probably like a 68 Fairlane 500. No, 69, 1969. Next up, same car but with a different front. And we got a Oldsmobile 65 Cutlass. It was basically under the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, and I think was either the same position or above the 442. No, I think it was below the 442. I don't know what the 442 means, but it has the Super Rocket engine. Yeah, here it is, SS396. Then we got the 2nd gen Barracuda. My favorite engine in this is the 7.0 liter or 427, well, it's actually 428 cubic inch Hemi. That's my favorite engine in this car. It's a 68. Yeah, well, then we got a Pontiac Le Mans. I don't know anything about that, but I just know the model. Next up is I think this is a 7. I don't know what model year of the Firebird this is. I just know it's a Firebird. Because of that badge over there, it has 400 cubic inches, which I think is like, I don't know, 6.8 liters or something. Then we have a 66 Ford Mustang GT. Unfortunately, it is a 4-cylinder, not a V8, so, but it's still like the design though, and how classy it looks. Just look at that engine, and even the side profile in the rear. Wow, looks real nice. Ooh, and we got an underrated car company here, Studebaker. This car company started in 1852, but went defunct in 1967. But they actually closed their factories 1966. Their last car was a 66 Lark 4-door sedan, but my favorite one is a 63 Avanti. They originally had to sell 20,000 of the Avanti, but they could only sell 1,200 units. And after that, we have an AMC AMX, the 1970 model year. This had a 390 cubic inch engine, which meant 6.5 liters of pure American muscle. Ooh, one of my favorite Camaros as well. A 396 SS, which stands for 6.6 liters. Then we got a 1964 GTO. It received a facelift for the 65 and 66 model years respectively. This was originally, I think this was originally like some sort of trim for the Pontiac Le Mans. When the car was released to the public, it was criticized for its slow steering and some other stuff. Next up is an actual Camaro SS. My favorite Camaro is a 69 Camaro Yanko, which had a 427 cubic inch V8 producing either 425 or 450 horsepower, depending on what source you read or use. Next up is a 66 Oldsmobile 442. I don't know what the 442 stands for. Like I said, here's some information here. Original 400 cubic inch motor. 400 cubic inches probably means like, I don't know, 6.7. This was the Torino I was talking about. I think this is a 1974 Torino GT. I also like that. Reminds me of those Plymouth commercials where the GT, for the Valiant, Roadrunner, and other with Wile E. Coyotes and the famous beep beep. Next up is a Camaro Z28. I don't know what the Z28 means in the Camaro, but what I know is that it's probably a 69 model year based on the front fascia. Next up is that car over there. That's a 1969 Ford Mustang Mach-1. This thing had a Super Cobra Jet V8 producing 335 horsepower and I think around 390 pound-feet of torque, if I'm not mistaken. That's the front. We have the engine, like always. That is the interior. This is the side profile. We got the rear fascia. Nice. Just like the music. We got a real rare one here. A V6 Sunbeam Tiger. I've seen this car, I think in the 7-Ups as some sort of background vehicle. It's 1973. Great movie. Features a 73 Granville and a 71 Pontiac Ventura. My second favorite is Bullet, and the third favorite is the French Connection. Anyways, stuff aside, well, let's go inside. I just gotta run. Like I said, this is a 1954 Corvette. This was produced from 53 until 61, I think. And it came with a 3.9 liter Blue Thrift i6 to a 5.4 liter V8. As you can see, it's obviously rotating. This car has the Blue Thrift i6. And we got a 51 Studebaker Commander. I know nothing about the vehicle except for the brand. Then, you got here, 1960 Ford Thunderbird. As you can see here, the facts here. You may pause the video to read them. And then we got the Continental. Fun fact, this wasn't produced by Lincoln, but was produced by a separate brand. Started by Ford in 1955 until 1957. This thing had a 368 cubic inch V8, producing 280 horsepower. And what else? And only 3,025 were produced from 56 to 57. Sorry, I didn't mean 55, I meant 56. Next up here, we got a 41 Lincoln Continental Mark I. This was the car that started the legendary model known from Lincoln. My favorite Continental is probably a 65, but if it's the Mark series, my favorite would be a 68 Lincoln Continental Mark III with a 4305 V8 producing 365 horsepower. The fourth gen is also my favorite. It was rated at a whopping 228.1 inches, a width of 79.4 feet, and weighed over 5,000 pounds. However, the horsepower decreased from 365 to 215. So that's a 150 decrease in horsepower. Next Next up here, probably my favorite one here, is a 1935 Auburn Boattail Speedster. It had an 851 to name. I do not know what it stood for, but apparently it was one of the first supercharged cars of its time. Pretty nice, don't you think? Alright, that is unfortunately the end of the video. See you guys later. Bye-bye. Don't like and subscribe, or just do whatever you want. Even dislike, or just leave a hate comment or something like that. Okay, actually, bye. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention. That wasn't the ad, I just forgot a car. Was this, an MGA from 55 to 59. Or 1955 to 1959. This was produced like MG, like I said. My favorite car from MG is definitely this one in the MGB, which was produced from 1962 until 1980. So that was around an 18-year production life. I also know Triumph and MG, my favorite Triumphs, are a 1965 Triumph TR4A and a 1969 Triumph TR6 and a 73 Triumph Spitfire, which was, Triumphs were the most popular import cars from the US in the 50s to the 70s. But okay, that wasn't true. More like second. The first was actually Volkswagen with their Beetle and their bus. If I remember correctly, the Beetle had a 1.8 liter flat 4 and was produced from 1938 until 2003. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100. So that was a 65-year run. And my parents also owned the Beetle and a bus sort of similar to like this, but not the collar. This variant was produced from 1967 until 1979, so that was a 12-year production run. Here up next is probably a Nissan. Yeah, it's a Nissan 300ZX. Listen, I am not a JDM guy, and I probably prefer American and European, so yeah, screw it. Okay, that's actually the end of the video. Bye.